Hello, everybody, and welcome to Media Day here on the campus of the University of Miami. Joe Zagacki alongside Don Bailey Jr. We are inside the Schwartz Center. We are not following proper inside etiquette because we are wearing hats, but
Everybody understands, Joe. It's hot. We've been outside working to practice. They understand.
okay, so
We're
we
exempt.
get a pass on that. At any rate, it is Media Day, and all of the players are with the assembled media today for a good preview of the upcoming season, the 2015 season. One of the themes for University of Miami head coach Al Golden has been, let's look ahead, fellas. We only have 4 months left in this season, so can we look ahead to what's going to happen this year? And I think that's the approach his coaching staff has taken and the players as well, and they should.
And they should, Joe, because first of all, you've analyzed last year. You've analyzed every game. You've analyzed every practice. You've analyzed every reason why the season was what it was. Now it is time for 2015. This is an entirely different group, an entirely different chemistry, makeup. Everything is different. So you have to focus on today. You got to get better every single day because even though it's less than a month away, so to speak, for the kickoff, in football minutes, it's right around the corner.
You know, the windshield has a bigger view than the rear view mirror. That's the way I look at it.
For one reason, correct?
All right, so this team this year, they are, I think there's a team that has more bonding. They like to call it the brotherhood. It starts off with the leadership, and some of that leadership, a lot of that leadership is coming from sophomore quarterback Brad Kaya.
Yeah, but it's coming from his work ethic, Joe. You know, he doesn't have to be the guy that's got to be the rah-rah guy, and you really don't want this season for him to feel like this season is on his shoulders. You want him to feel that he wants to run his offense as efficiently as he can, and he wants to set an example for his teammates in the classroom, in the film room, and on the field.
Here's the thing about college football. You never really know from year to year. And one of the themes has been, well, the University of Miami lost this player and they lost that player. How do you solve it? And Coach Coley had a really good answer: recruiting. And so now it's time for a guy like Mark Walton, who's a freshman, to step in. Joe Yearby, a sophomore, gained 585 yards a year ago. It's his opportunity. On defense, Quad Muhammad, your opportunity. You were recruited, and the list goes on and on.
Well, the conversation has been Miami has lost so many NFL players. Well, now we're replacing them with future NFL players. That's what you want to get to. The talent level here at the University of Miami has certainly been upgraded every single year. And you go out at practice, even after just 2 days, and you see the efficiency in the practice. You see the older players teaching the younger players what they're doing wrong. So not only are they getting coached by the coaches, they're getting coached by the players as well. So that is a big, big impact, and you'll see the dividends come kickoff.
All right, well, coming up on our program here, we're going to hear from University of Miami head coach Al Golden, his press conference. We're going to follow him through the car wash, not Don's car wash down the street, but the ESPN car wash earlier this summer. Plus, we'll have some great guests that include University of Miami Athletic Director Blake James and Tracy Howard. Plus, head coach Al Golden will also join us right here inside the Schwartz Center. We are 2 days into practice so far, and guys are competing at a high level.
Well, there's competition, and I want to tell you, you want to know how to get better in any sport is have competition. That means that the coach has one more person on his side, the bench. If you don't want to compete, you can go sit down and rest up, and we'll come back around to you if you're lucky. And I think that's really been something that's been lacking here is the depth and the competition, and now Miami has gotten both.
All right, the media has assembled here. They're inside the Bob Mann Auditorium. University of Miami head coach Al Golden is there also. So let's go inside and pick up the press conference of Hurricanes head coach Al Golden.
Yeah, no, we are. We're bigger and stronger, most particularly on defense, and we're deeper. You know, we have 80 scholarships now, so that where that's showing up the most is on special teams. But with respect to your first question, we are much bigger and much stronger than we have been, and a lot of really good competition on the defensive line, like Kendrick and R.J. McIntosh are really looking like they're going to be able to compete, which is going to make us deeper right away, more deep than we thought going in.
Coach, you've been asked about what's different about this offseason and this team. You mentioned the togetherness, and I think the quote was, "We have one heartbeat right now." What do you think was the reason that wasn't the case in previous years?
Yeah, again, I don't go backwards. We're 8 months into 2015 now, and I think I'd rather honor what these guys are doing than contrast. Anybody can contrast in hindsight, but when you do that, you're taking away from obviously the investment and commitment that a lot of people made to last year's squad. It didn't work out. We made some changes. The staff made some changes. The players made the ultimate changes. The leadership, the accountability. They're setting high standards right now, and the unity is really high. Again, it doesn't happen if they don't want to do it, and they're doing it at a high level right now.
Coach, you said the other day this is the first time you're coming into a season without any distractions. So is this camp what it would look like if you hadn't had those distractions in the past?
I'm excited. That's it. Again, you guys want to keep talking about the past. I mean, there's only 4 months left in this freaking year. I want to enjoy this year. These guys have worked hard since January 12th and given up a lot. And, it's a knock on wood thing. I say it all the time. I always temper that by saying, there's a lot of challenges right now socially. There's a lot of challenges in the community, and we're not immune to it. But when you do get great leadership and guys are setting a high standard, and again, we have a saying, the standard you walk past is the standard you set. And right now they're setting high standards and holding each other accountable. So hopefully we can just continue to keep the team mentality and focus on the goal and block the rest of it out. They've done a good job doing that.
The tempo today seemed, pretty businesslike, but a little bit slower or subdued. Is that on purpose?
Yeah, the first 2 days,
Yeah.
Beast. The first
So
2
that's
days.
on purpose.
Yeah, the first 2 days are always like that. Again, I've been places where it's no pads and they're smashing into each other, and it defeats the purpose of no pads. We don't believe that. So we slow it down. We teach. Okay, and then as you guys probably noticed, the only run in there today was a draw. So we don't even try to ask players. We don't want to put players in conflict. So it's all pocket passes basically. Tomorrow when we put the tops on, we go to the run and play action game in the perimeter game, and then we'll kind of put it all together by practice 5 or 6.
Can you talk a little bit just about the camp schedule, kind of what you guys are focused on early here at camp, and then as you get closer to the first game?
Yeah, again, I'm really proud of our guys for the commitment that they made, because when you come in and you have all of your offense and all of your defense, at your disposal on day one. The kids made a commitment, so they're allowing us to focus not on behaviors. It's really the epitome of our foundation, right? If you're smart, you're tough, you're disciplined, and you're great condition, okay, you eliminate a lot of the things that cause teams to lose. And what they are doing right now is allowing us to focus on finite details, on really drilling down, on refining things. Again, pocket pass and draw, 3-step, 2-minute money downs yesterday and today. The next 2 days are our run game and play action installation. And on practice 5, we kind of put it all together, and then we'll repeat it after scrimmage 1. So it's too much of a big picture to give you, but does that give you an idea of what you're? Okay. Yep.
Are you kind of focusing in on the freshman year early, which guys might be able to actually help you?
Yeah, I think they expose themselves pretty quickly, and I think what they do is, there's constant communication, and once they identify themselves or present themselves as that, now we got to get them taught on special teams, and that's the biggest thing. The weight of the special teams, that burden was only shared by very few last year, especially as the injuries mounted during the season. And right now we just have, more guys, more bodies, more experience.
Obviously, there are many differences. What do you see in Brad, particularly compared to last year? Just hit a couple of them, because I know there are many.
It's hard to communicate it to you. I'm positive by nature, right? So it's hard to say, at this time last year, there was a lot of questions. He was trying to get in shape. He was trying to learn the offense. And if I asked you, who would you want the best leader on your team to be, you would say what? What position? Quarterback. So we couldn't ask him to do that a year ago. So he's gone from being a great teammate a year ago to leading in the spring to now really having a command presence. So he's made that journey, and he's more than a leader right now. He's a commander. There's a big difference: command in the locker room, command in front of the team, command at the line of scrimmage. Okay, so that's one. Two, physically, I don't think you can you know, I don't think you can compare where he is physically now after going through the whole program. You know, the weight program, he's lean, he's really quick right now. And then certainly conceptually, he's on a different level right now. Those are the three areas I'd say.
Now, Brad's got a lot of attention going into the season. It's got to be great for the program, for him. He's also 19, though.
Yeah.
As a coach, do you have to manage that at all?
No, not with him. Nope. He's a team guy. The players know he's a team guy. Nobody works harder than he does. Nobody works harder than he does. You know, he's just he's humble. He's hungry, and his teammates know he'll do anything for them. So again, I think he looks at it more like you know, he couldn't do any of those things without Stan or Herndon or Stacy or Joe or Gus or any of those guys. So it's a good thing.
Al, are the lights for now, are they kind of a just in case opportunity for you guys?
The lights? No, we'll use the lights. Yeah, we'll use the lights 5 times, Tim. I think the biggest thing is it's such a stress relief. Okay, so it's not just the physical, you know, the waiting, the physical toll it takes on you. You know, you warm up, you come in, you come out, you come in, but also the psychological toll on it. And now we get a forecast that's not consistent with what we need, or that we can't be on the field with. You just can send them in and come back at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And that's a big difference, because I think we all know the South Florida weather and the pattern, that's pretty consistent. So if we do get one of those strikes, you just send them in and just reverse the order. Do your meetings, feed them, and then bring them back. And then there's no, you know, you're not waiting around for 4 hours. You're not going in and out, because every time you make a change, you know, I got 240 people that I got to make a change.
Coach, so far this year, what has Stacy Coley been able to do to not
Yeah.
repeat last year's slump?
Well, again, you guys say slump, but you know, the next question is, hey, you know, how you're going to replace Clive and Phillip, right? So, you know, those guys had a really good year, right? So, this kid's worked really hard and he's ready for his challenge. I mean, since January, he's gotten so much stronger. He's in great condition. He doesn't miss anything right now. He's sharp. Really, I'm really proud of his maturity and his growth. And he'll get everything that he's got coming to him. He's going to have a great year, and he deserves it. He's really worked his tail off.
Al, you mentioned the freshman a little bit earlier, but specifically Mark Walton. What have you kind of seen from him the first couple of years? The impact he can have?
Yeah, just a really serious guy. I mean, a football guy. It means something to him. He's got great ankle flexibility, which means he can run with his shoulders over his toes almost the whole time. You probably noticed just watching him. So he's got great leverage, great balance. He's got a physical presence, and he loves the game. So he's not one-dimensional. He can do a lot of different things. So, again, he's one of the guys. You know, we're very pleased with this group. You know, whether it's he or, you know, I mentioned RJ and Kendrick before, and Red Wine, Jaquan. We're very pleased with St. Louis. We're very pleased with this group. And he's certainly going to get opportunities here in the next 2 weeks.
Couple more questions.
Yeah, Al, the brand new scholarship quarterback, Evan Shirris.
Yeah, he's brand new.
He's not going to play for a long time, I'm assuming, but
Yeah.
what did you see in him, and what do you want him to, you know, learn, and how do you want him to
Yeah, so we don't live in that world, you know. We got to prepare him to play, and we don't have that luxury. He's got to get ready to go. Incredibly bright, a much stronger arm. Just listen to the kids, you know, when you're in and out in the summer, and they start telling you about this guy. His arm pops, and we're excited about Evan. You know, we really are. You know, we got to keep getting him in shape and getting him in good condition, but just slow down. You know, just talking to him today about, you know, just slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Just, you know, just nice and easy. Don't just trust your feet and let it go instead of just trying to hurry things.
Coach, obviously last year finishing 6 and 7, your overall record here as a coach, you know, fans haven't necessarily been happy with the direction of the program. Do you feel any pressure this year that this is a make or break season for you personally?
Yeah, no, I don't. We got a great staff and a team that's really, you know, circled the wagons and really buying into each other and doing all the little things. It's been the best for me. It's been the best 8-month stretch, or whatever you want to say. Kind of preface to a season that we've had. The kids have been great. Just buying in, doing the little things, taking care of school. Very little distractions. I think as a coach, when you have adversity like that, or as a staff or as players, your circle gets tighter. All the clutter gets removed. So it's been very, very refreshing for me. You find out who's in your camp. You find out who's got your back. You find out who still comes around, who wants to help you, find solutions. And from that standpoint, it's been awesome. Like I'm energized by it.
What's your impression of what needs to be accomplished this season to secure your job?
I'm not worried about it. We're just worried about getting better. The rest of it's all, none of it's gonna matter if we don't take care of what we got to take care of. Tim, I'm not worried about it. That's your job. You guys can worry about it. I'm not worried about it. My job is to get the team ready, and I'm gonna have them ready. Tim.
Did you ever think that you were going to not get Rayshon back after all you went through?
Scott?
Jenkins, I'm sorry.
Jenkins, I was worried there for a while. I was worried. Young man made a commitment. We missed him a lot. He was a starter at the end of the previous year, and he hasn't played in 18 months, so that was difficult. And it was a long road for him. I'm sure there was moments where he doubted whether he was going to be back. He made a lot of changes. He matured a lot. I think he doesn't take it for granted anymore, and I think it's empowered him. I think he's going to make a big difference for us.
How do you pick and choose on a daily basis when you get out to the practice field of where you're going to spend your time?
Yeah, it just changes. It just depends. We have 3 young corners right now that we're trying to see who's going to elevate and who can get in the mix. So a lot of that, just trying to take some of the pressure off those guys on defense and work more with those guys right now. And then, to be honest with you, usually the way it works is where I spend most of the time on the field. I go to the other film room when this is, like when we're done here. I'll go to the offense today and spend a lot of time with them, and then I feel like I got a good grasp on everything. If I have to go back and watch something else, I'll do that later on. But it really does depend. Right now, it's a little bit more free-flowing because it's camp. I'm sorry, Manny.
In terms of redshirt freshman and sophomore guys who come back for year 2,
Yeah.
who's ready to make the biggest jump?
Can you supply me a list of names? Oh my God. Well, I think Demetrius, physically he looks really good, so I'm excited about him. David Njoko, you guys saw him a little bit in the spring. Hopefully Langham can continue to come on because he's really gifted. Man, you guys, there's so many different guys. Gayot played, Young played. I'm just so far removed from, yeah.
A little bit, but I just mean kind of moving into bigger roles where you expect them to,
Yeah, I think some of those, like Casey McDermott, and you guys didn't really see him play very much. I'm excited about him, and it's a good group. So we'll see what transpires. It was nice to redshirt those guys. Obviously, not in that class, but Quan Muhammad, Jenkins, all those guys. The ability to redshirt those guys was huge.
Last question.
Coach, you talked about focusing on the finite details. The GPS system that you've been working with, has that allowed you to do that as far as how far you can push players when you've got a back off?
I just couldn't understand the question. I'm sorry.
The GPS system?
Oh, yeah. The GPS system has meant a lot to us. It's been awesome. It's really, it makes you think how you did it before. You get an evaluation every day of where you're at, who to pull back on, who to push, how to schedule. We have a function on it that you guys may or may not know that measures impact. So if you start getting some high impacts, it's really not, it really helps you say, okay, maybe we'll change the way we practice tomorrow, or change the way a certain player practices tomorrow. It's meant a lot to us. I don't think there's any question about it. And we've incorporated, I think Sways, Brad Roll, all those guys have done a good job with it. And it's really been beneficial. There's no question about it.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, enjoy the day.
One of the things that occurs every summer is the car wash at ESPN. They keep the coaches busy, and for Hurricanes head coach Al Golden, first it was ACC Media Days in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and then was on the road to ESPN and going through every single one of their programs and answering a lot of questions with every single one of their hosts.
It's a great experience, great for the University of Miami to get so much exposure nationally, and anytime you can get the U out there, it pays off.
Plus, when it comes to doing all these things, they clearly have the right guy because Coach Golden, very good with the press, very good with the media, and has been very good explaining his position on this program.
Well, but he's also giving the plan on why Miami is going to be a better program, why Miami is going to be a better football team, and you get an understanding of his intensity as well. This is a man that after the season went right to work for 55 days straight trying to change things, trying to maneuver things to make sure that there's improvement. And when you get to know him and you get to talk about him, you get to understand what kind of work ethic he has.
I think we call this triangulation, where they've been, where they are, and where they're going.
And I'm looking forward to where we're going.
All right, well, where we are going is following head coach Al Golden through the car wash at ESPN.
I always know when I feel underdressed. It's because Al Golden is in the room with me. Why you always gotta make me look bad, man?
Man, how you doing?
I'm good.
Doing good?
Yeah, you're all suited up. You got the tie is customary. I get it, but I'm like in jeans and a t-shirt. I'm like, I look like a radio guy. And you look like $1 million.
You look good.
I look good.
One of the things that is certainly positive for Miami Hurricanes moving forward is the fact that Brad Caio was able to play as a freshman quarterback. If Miami's defense can come up with some critical stops and critical moments, make some plays that they didn't make at the biggest times last year, there's no reason that Al Golden's program shouldn't make a big step forward in 2015.
All right, thank you very much. It is Media Day here on campus at the University of Miami. We're inside the Schwartz Center. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., University of Miami head coach Al Golden. Team is just off the practice field. Coach Golden has had his press conference. We're violating the in-house rules wearing hats, but we don't have the proper etiquette. But at any rate, it was a little warm out there. Coach, welcome to the season and 2 days in the books. How's it going so far?
Doing great. We've been a very efficient group. We've finished on time. We don't have a lot of repeats, not a lot of delays. Very focused group right now, and really mature. It's amazing how mature it's just been really smooth.
Al, I came out yesterday and then, of course, today, and one thing that I noticed is it's quiet. And I don't mean quiet that nobody's hitting, quiet that nobody has to push anybody. Everybody
amazing.
is running to where they have to be. Coaches aren't encouraging players to do things, and the conditioning seems to be the best it's been since you've been here.
The conditioning and the standard that was set by the leadership. Now, the fact that we don't even have to intervene ever. I mean, just you don't have to say anything. But you can't even get a word out, and Kirby's saying something, or Dallas is saying something, or Brad or Stan. So I think that's good. They're keeping their eyes on their goal and staying together as a team.
Coach, one thing did jump out at me in the first 2 days, and that was walking by one of your groups, which was the defensive line. You've got some numbers there now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that position?
Well, the best I felt, since we've been here. We're stronger, we're bigger, and we're deeper. So that's a good thing. A lot of competition there, and we got some maturity there too. That kind of gets overlooked a little bit. But we have a lot of guys that have played for us, which is great.
You had 2 freshmen you brought in, Norton from Jacksonville, and McIntosh from Cardinal Gibbons. And I don't know if they'll get into the mix, but they certainly look the part.
Yeah.
And they look like defensive linemen are supposed to look.
I just said up there, they are in a situation where physically they can do it, and from a conditioning standpoint they can do it, and because of that they're going to challenge, and whether the guys can hold them off or not, I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. Those guys are talented.
Al, the loss of Clive Walford, 44 catches from him alone to the National Football League, and I come out and go gravitate right to the tight end group last year, and I don't know that I've seen a better looking bunch.
It's a great group, yeah.
I mean, from top to bottom.
Yep, no, it's a really good group, and Clive, I think I said this to you guys last year. I think Clive is in this day and age is a guy that took the journey. He took the time to get faster, get stronger, get quicker, become a better blocker, become better pass route runner, become a better receiver, and so he left a great legacy there and set a high standard. And now there's a group of guys that, is there going to be a Clive Walford, or is it going to be by committee? That's what remains to be seen. But as I said in the ACC, I'm not going to trade that group. I'm not going to trade that group. That's a good group, and what remains is the challenge for them is, okay, either do it by committee or somebody jump out. But that production we're not losing that production. We're going to have the same numbers in that spot as we did a year ago.
One of the things you talked about yesterday were the penalties last year and the loss of yardage. And I know that drives you crazy, but you are addressing it, and maybe you can explain it, how you're addressing it both on the field and off the field to make sure that's a priority.
Yeah, so, again, if it's hard to compartmentalize your life, if you're undisciplined in every aspect of your life, and then all of a sudden we ask you to come out and don't get penalties or be disciplined, don't hold somebody, don't jump off sides. I mean, we're whistling Dixie, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the guy, you got to be disciplined. And so the guys are doing a really good job of just saying, let's just take care of the little things and get our talent in the game. Let's play the game smarter and more disciplined, and then let's see where our talent takes us. As a coach, that's disappointing. Last year that we made so much progress with penalties since year one, and then we just took a gigantic step backwards last year and finished -1 in the turnover ratio too. So those two areas need to get fixed, and it's kind of a comprehensive approach to fixing it, as opposed to just saying, all right, hold the ball differently.
Right.
Al, I go to the takeaways for a second. The first couple of days of practice, that secondary, they certainly look like they're honed in on taking the ball away. You can tell that the conversation has led to that, and the benefits. I mean, you coached the secondary as a position coach, and it once those takeaways start, it almost is contagious.
Yeah. So Ladarius went on to Green Bay, but we got Jenks back.
Right.
And we added 4 DBs because it wasn't just a place where we replace. It was a place where we needed to replenish because we got more scholarships. So we needed more guys on special teams. So there's a lot of guys there right now competing, and there's a lot of length there, whether it's Michael Jackson and Sheldrick or, Jenkins. Jenkins, I've told you guys before, he's a very explosive young man. Of course, Dion. Those guys are – Jamal, those guys are long and can break on the ball, and Artie's in a good place right now. Tracy's just been incredibly consistent. Him and Dallas have been just like the soul of that group right now, just really consistent and unselfish. So it's the most experienced group we've had, but they should be even better than that because of the number of pass rushers we have. We've had more pass rushers right now than we've had since OV and those guys left. This is the most, without question, with Quan and Tyreek and D-Jax and Darian Owens and all those guys. So it's a good group, and collectively they're the reason why we're getting more hands-on balls right now.
A lot of people talking about the quarterback, Brad Kaya, and he's doing all the right things. Let me ask you it this way. What do you expect the reaction to be from the opponents this year? What are you anticipating them trying to do to Brad this year, and some of the things you're getting him ready for?
Yeah, so I think last year there wasn't really a lot of thought that went into it. It was like we're going to get after his ass, you know. And so from that standpoint, I think there's going to be, you know, a little bit. You know, he has more tools right now. You know, he has more tools. We have more tools that we can use in terms of calling or getting him out of a bad play, because he can handle more. You know, again, I don't think we can give James Coley enough credit, you know, for getting that guy ready to play. You know, he arrived May, 18th or something. He didn't come in January.
No.
You know, so I think he just has more answers right now. So we'll see what people do, but it can't just be the, you know, kitchen sink that we saw last year when he was trying to get going.
When I look at Brad now, though, physically,
Yeah.
He's a year older on the books, but he looks 2 years older physically. I mean,
Yeah.
just his posture in the pocket and the strength that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he has really matured and taken this offseason as serious as anybody.
Yeah, so he's a comprehensive commitment to excellence, you know, so nutritionally, sacrifice, just a work ethic. I love the fact that you just said, because we've been saying that, just his core strength, the way his feet are firing. He's so much leaner, his lean body mass. Hey, look, you know, he lost 20 pounds in 12 weeks or whatever, and you can do that, but you can't do that and be, you know, lean and strong and do it. I mean, it's a lot different when you're the same weight as you were a year ago and you've shaped it for a year. So he looks a lot different. So excited for him, and obviously glad he's our quarterback and our leader.
We got to talk about the group behind him, the quarterbacks behind
Yeah.
him. How do you manage them rep-wise in practice and then prepare for an upcoming season?
Yeah. Well, I was just asked upstairs, you know, so-and-so's not going to play and all that. I mean, we don't have the luxury to say that.
Right.
Everybody's got to prepare to be a starter, and whether it's Vincent or Evan or Malik, all those guys are getting reps. They're competing. If they're not team reps, you got to find other ways to get reps. You know, whether it's mental reps or throwing individual routes or Skelly or whatever the case may be. But every one of those guys has got to continue to prepare, and we're starting to get some depth there at quarterback, which is nice.
I think you got some pretty good competition at running back.
Yeah.
Mark Walton has come in here, and you know, you have Gus and Joe and Trayon that have been here, and now Mark Walton is the newcomer, but he's hovering. He wants to make his presence felt.
Yeah, he's got a little chip. You know, he's got a little edge to him, and he and Quan are, you know, Sway's in the strength staff. You know, just complimented those guys. They're it's very infrequent that you get leaders like those two guys, at their age. They're just very, very serious, very mature. They're great teammates. But he's gonna fight his way into this competition, and once it slows down, it's going to be interesting to see where everything goes. But very, very excited about him, both on the field and his makeup off the field. Tremendous young man.
Now you lost over 100 starts from your offensive line and a first top 10 draft pick included in that group.
Sure.
And now the replacement comes. There's talent there. You were hit with injuries last year. You got guys playing time probably before you wanted to.
Yeah.
And you become you've implemented the platooning system the last couple of years, and it worked out fantastic for you.
Yeah.
How do you rebuild this department?
Well, we're working with 12 right now, and we'll see if someone else pops in to make it 13 or 14. But right now we're working with 12, and you know, we spent most of last year with 8. You know, which is hard. It's hard on the durability. It's hard on the longevity, the endurance, the nicks that you start to get. So we have more depth there. It's a really close group, Don. It's you know, we got good leaders there. Gall has been a good leader. Nick Linder is a really good leader. Danny, a little bit more quiet, but certainly a guy that kind of a mentor, you know, if you will. So there's guys there. Been pleased with Gauthier and Tower St. Louis so far, and we'll just see where it takes us. You know, Casey and Trevor and you know, Sonny, all those guys, Jay here, all those guys that tackle, and we'll just keep rotating guys and see where it goes.
You also are getting some pretty good leadership from Raphael Kirby, who I think is taking ownership of that job. And then Jermaine Grace, if you were to call a running back a slasher, You would say the same about him at linebacker. He just finds his way to the backfield, and really came on strong for you at the end of last year.
He did, and he's stronger now, and he's bigger. And Jermaine's had a good offseason. You know, a lot of the little immature stuff, you know, is gone now, and he's really focused on preparing and being the best player he can be. And he's a sudden player. He's what we call an explosive player. And by virtue of that, he can break on balls, he can intercept balls, he can knock balls loose from running backs because he's very physical. He's like Denzel in that capacity, but really fast. You know, I'm talking sub 4.5. So I'm excited about him for sure.
All right, very good. Thanks for joining us here on Media Day on campus, and we'll see you back out on the practice field tomorrow morning.
Okay, guys. Thanks.
All right, that's University of Miami head coach Al Golden with Don Bailey Jr., and we'll continue on Miami Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Here on HurricaneSports.com, Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., and on Media Day, as we come to you from the Schwartz Center, we are now joined by University of Miami tight end Standish Dobard. Stan, 2 days in, how are you?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy to be back.
Standish, I had talked to Coach Scott, I talked to Coach Golden, and everybody's excited about that tight end group. Everybody was worried about losing the 44 catches from Clive Walford, but everybody feels that production will be replaced by the entire group. Give us your assessment of the guys that nobody really knows as of now.
Our whole room is very talented. We have Chris Herndon, Jerome Washington, David Njoku, and Jake O'Donnell. You know, all those guys can go in there and play and not miss a heartbeat in the offense. So we're very talented at the tight end position.
We mentioned that Clive had a bunch of catches, but he also left a good legacy. He set an example of how to play the position. What did he teach you, and how did he affect your career as of today?
Oh man, Clive was the way he prepared before games, the way he prepared at practice, and the way he practiced like it was game day every day. And, you know, when I was slacking off at practice, he'll always get on me and let me know, you know, you're going to be the one next year, so you got to get right now.
Stan, you played against Florida State. You started against South Carolina. Played the second half against Pittsburgh. How valuable was that experience for you?
Oh, man, it was a great experience, you know, just to beat up without Clive, you know, and I be the guy and get ready for next year. You know, I was always used to Clive being in there and coming on the sideline and having Clive to be like, you know, Stan, you got to do that right, you got to do that right. But then I had to, you know, I had to correct myself on the sideline when Clive went to the locker room and he got hurt in Pittsburgh. So, you know, I kind of grew up in that game, and it helped me for the rest of the season.
Now you're correcting the younger guys as well, correct?
Yeah, it's crazy.
How's that feel?
Made me feel a little old, but, you know, whatever I have to give, you know, I always try to make them better. So
we saw you in the spring, and I talked to you about this a couple of weeks ago. But we saw you in the spring where you caught the ball down the middle, and once you catch it, you're explosive with the ball. And then you took off about 30 yards down the field, and you took the entire defense with you. Maybe 6 or 7 guys actually to get you on the ground. Is that what you want to be known for this year? Catching it and then being able to do something with it?
Yeah, I want to be known as being one of the next great tight ends from Miami. But it's all about the team. You know, whatever I could do to help this team and make this team perfect, that's what I'm here for.
Brad Kaya, the difference between him and training camp a year ago today than right now. What do you see out of the quarterback is the biggest difference?
Oh, the way he's leading. You know, he's leading right now. He's focused. Last year he was kind of, you know, he was leading last year, but this year he's on another level.
He knows his spot, does he not?
Yeah, he knows.
Don mentioned some of those other guys around you. Let's talk about him. Chris Herndon wears number 23. He's a big target, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great. He's a nice kid.
Yeah. And then there's David Njoku, who I think he could be anything he wants. He could be a tight end, a wide receiver, a linebacker. If you were breaking down David, give us a scouting report.
Oh, man, he's very tall and athletic. You know, he's long, he's fast. You know, I have to say he's the most athletic tight end that we have. You know, he's still learning the offense and things like that, but he's going to be great when he's ready.
And then there's the newcomer, Jerome Washington. And went under the radar, and I don't know how to even describe him other than he's a freak.
Oh yeah, he's strong, he's big, fast. He can run for his size, and you know he wants to learn. You know he want to be great. You know that's one thing I like about him. He always asks questions. You know he want to find ways to get better.
Stan, everybody thinks that the tight end, the receiving tight end, but you're not going to get on that field unless you can block. And,
Yeah.
and Coach Scott's got some O-line in his background, right? So, I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
that's a big part of the equation as well. Tell us how much time you spend on the running game.
You know, we spend half practice blocking, and we spend half practice catching balls and stuff like that. But that's Coach Scott's biggest thing. You got to block, because our team, we're gonna run the ball. To beat teams, we're gonna have to run the ball, and you're gonna need good tight ends that can block.
You guys ran a lot of double tight end last year and did a lot of stuff that you see from the NFL. So someone else has got to get in there with you. But you mentioned that blocking. That has to be emphasized. And last year against Nebraska, you played against Nebraska. You and Clive did a good job in that game. You looking forward to a rematch this year?
Oh, yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're looking real forward to it. We're ready to play.
Stan, the defense is especially the front four, I should say, that defensive line, which you face some of those guys, especially in short yardage and goal line. They've gotten bigger and stronger, and they look like they're able to move around. There seems to be functioning better as a unit this year than ever before.
Oh, yeah. They have guys like Quan Muhammad, Demetrius Jackson.
Let's stop
Chad
at Quan
Thomas.
for a minute. But he wasn't here last year. What does he bring to the table?
Oh, man, he's very physical. He's just a dog. That's one word that describe Quan Muhammad. He's a dog. When you blocking Quan, you have to come with it.
And then keep going down. Look, Chad Thomas is growing up a little bit,
Chad
right?
Thomas, he got his weight up. He's getting stronger. And Demetrius Jackson, he's one to look out for this season. Very focused.
And then you got to work against that secondary. They like to bait you a little bit now, get you running toward those safeties. And you run into those safeties, you're going to run into some ball hawks and some guys that want to level you, right?
Yes, sir. You run into Deion Bush, Jamal Carter. All our safeties and corners, they're good, but Deion Bush and Jamal Carter, Rashawn Jenkins, those guys, you got to come with it.
I want to go back to the offseason because it's a big part of the entire year. And I mentioned to Al Golden when he was here with us a few moments ago that there's no coaches hollering at anybody to get them moving. You guys are jumping to drills. You're getting as many reps as you can.
Yes,
you're resting when you're supposed to. And it shows the amount of time you put into conditioning in this offseason. How did Coach Swayze do anything different, or was it a different approach by the team?
It was a different approach by the team. We felt that Coach Golden put more trust in the offense. In the team. So, we had to go out and, we don't need coaches to be on our back telling us what to do. We need to do it ourselves, to become champions. We don't need coaches telling us where to be at on time and things like that. We got to do that ourselves. So.
All right, very good. Thanks for joining us here on Media Day.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. All right, that's Standish Dobard, junior tight end from Louisiana. He's going to be a factor this year, this kid here. He can play some football, and he's like Mike Ditka when he gets his hands on the ball.
Book it.
Yeah.
Book it. He will be a factor.
All right, we'll continue here on Media Day. More to come from inside the Schwartz Center right here on HurricaneSports.com. Zagacki and Don Bailey Jr. and all of the media here as well. All of the players are outside chatting with the media. Fortunately, we are inside the Schwartz Center. And joining us right now is University of Miami senior defensive back Tracy Howard. It's hard to believe that we're saying senior. It seems as if you just arrived on campus the other day.
Yeah. It went by pretty fast. Some good years. I've been enjoying it. Enjoying it with my team, with the guys. So, I'm just ready to get it started.
Tracy, you seem to have taken a big role in leadership in running this football team. How did that happen?
I think it happened just from experience. When you're an older guy, you're an experienced guy that played a lot of football around here, guys tend to respect you, especially if you're a guy that been around making plays, for a while. So, guys tend to have that respect. And I think, naturally, I'm a natural born leader. So I think, I just had that skill set, that just came with me, and that was God given.
You got a lot of people to lead, right? You got a big class of freshmen that came in the secondary. They're all looking up to you. The mentoring is very, very important at this time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very important. Those guys, they look up to not just me. They look up to Deion. They look up to Dallas. And guys like that. And Rashawn Jenkins. So it's definitely very important. To just take those guys under your wing. And show them the way. Because things can get hard for them, especially like during camp. So those guys, they're gonna look at us. And see, how we handle it. They just gonna follow us. You might not even have to even say words to them sometimes. They just look at your body language and, just follow behind us. So as long as we lead and, staying passionate, and just staying focused and on the task, and winning the coastal, those guys, they're going to follow suit.
Is there something different that you've noticed about your secondary so far early in camp?
As guys are, just paying attention more to detail. Just not just the team, overall. Everybody just, just paying more attention to detail. Everybody's competing. We always competing with one another. That never been anything new. But, guys are just really, focusing on details, where they need to be, their responsibility. I think the leadership role has helped us a bunch. Guys stepping up, being leaders, I guess, guys following, what we really need to do. And everybody's so goal-focused. Everybody going to practice, even though it's hot, we block out the sun, and we just really want to get better and really want to win around here,
Tracy, Coach Golden talked to us earlier, and he mentioned, as you well know, the giveaway takeaway category was not what Miami football was all about last year. You want more takeaways on a defense, but I watch out there today when you have the takeaway, you have the interception, it blows fire onto that secondary. I mean, it really increases your energy level. Talk to us about what Coach D'Onofrio and then Coach Williams, how you guys start focusing in on taking the football away.
Oh, yeah, we basically, we just implement a lot of things, into our defense. We implemented a standard, which is hurricane finish, so we definitely want to finish on the ball, with violent hands. Anytime we get a chance to make a play, we want to use our ball skills, because we have DBs back there as in Dallas and Dion, even the young guys, you got Rashawn Jenkins, you got corners like Artie and Corn, and everybody are ball hawks, everybody got great ball skills, so we just want to, just show that, on the field, we don't want to, not show it when the ball's in the air, So when we do it, of course, we're very passionate about our game, and, it definitely increases, us, when we make a play. But, we're just having fun, just trying to make the offense better, and they make us better. When they make a play, I'm sure they're very passionate about it. But, we're trying to make as many plays as possible, and every opportunity we get, we're trying to capitalize on it.
Tracy Howard is our guest, University of Miami senior defensive back, 5 career interceptions for Tracy. The defense won the day today at the end. You won the drill at the end. And Don noted that you guys had them covered up pretty well. You had the receivers covered up pretty well. Is the coverage, the schemes in the secondary, they're coming more naturally now?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Especially with, experienced guys, having been playing the defense for a while, it's second nature now. Coach called a play, we know what everybody's doing, not just what we're doing, we know what everybody's doing. We know who's dropping where and where I help at and things like that. So I think we're working like a chain right now, on defense. I think it's only going to get better day by day. But, the offense is doing a great job as well, but, it's always, everybody just competing, so, we won today, but, I know they're going to be mad tomorrow. They're gonna bring their A game, and I'm sure we got to bring our A game. But I don't want to separate it as an offense and defense. I still want to make keep it a team thing. Everybody just competing, getting better.
Tracy, the secondary probably has as good a feel for Brad Kaya as anybody, or can pass judgment on him. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about Brad. What is the biggest difference you see from him coming in last year as a true freshman and really came in May? He didn't come in January. Where was he, with the first couple days of practice last year versus where is he today?
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Him and the entire offense. But Brad, individually, he's doing a great job. He's a great leader, a great vocal leader. And he wants it. He's very hungry. We talk all the time. And I always told him, I got your back no matter what. We got your back no matter what. So very hungry guy. Very patient, very smart. Definitely easily one of the top quarterbacks in the country, to me, and to the whole entire defense. And we definitely have a great feel for him, playing against him every day. It's just going to help us out, because, when we go up against another quarterback, we go up against a high-caliber quarterback every day in practice, so we know we're going to be most definitely ready for the challenge.
He is extremely accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, he can put it right where it needs to be. That is a challenge for any defense, and as you say, it will make you better against better opponents down the road.
Yeah, most definitely.
Tracy Howard is with us. Tracy, the average offense today in college football is now averaging 408 yards per game. Average per game. When Don Bailey played, it was 250 yards. That was a good day.
That's right.
Now it's 408 yards per game. How hard is it to defend how hard is it to defend now in college football?
Yeah, it can be tough at times, with guys running a lot of schemes, a read option, and, option plays where they could either run it or pass, and, it's definitely a passing league now. But college definitely still have great running backs, but it can be tough, but as long as everybody do their job, man, and everybody passionate, you can make it easy on yourself.
Thank you, Tracy. And you hear over and over about the brotherhood on the defense.
That's right. That's right. And they're playing like it too. I was standing out there today watching them. They're playing as a complete unit.
I'm getting off the bus behind Kamalu. All right. Next up here from Media Day will be University of Miami Athletic Director Blake James. We'll do that as we continue on Miami Sports Radio, 560 WQAM, and on HurricaneSports.com. Offensive players are outside now meeting with the assembled media. We are inside and joined by University of Miami Athletic Director Blake James and football season. But you got a lot of things going on, so we'll try to cover as many topics as possible. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. And as you said, it's an exciting time of year, a lot of things going on, and it's just a fun part about my job.
Well, we kicking off football season 2 days in, and so this ramps up really the beginning of another athletic year, and football gets it all started for you.
They do, and women's soccer has started as well, and volleyball gets going here this weekend, and so it's that busy time of year, and surprisingly, we got women's basketball going as well, so they're practicing right now, and they're getting ready to head to Europe for their foreign tour. They leave on Sunday, so a lot of things going on. The year's in full gear for us, and classes will start in, 2 weeks.
Also, this time of year, the Hurricane Club is big, right? You're getting the momentum going and want as many people to join as you can. Tell us a little bit. Give us an update on how the Hurricane Club is going at this point.
Oh, the Hurricanes Club is going great. Again, thanks to all the people out there that have really stepped up and made a difference. When you look at, over the last few years, we've gone to over 8,000 members in the Hurricane Club, and it's something that I'm very proud of because it just shows how passionate our fan base is about really wanting to be behind building champions, and that's something that we've talked to them about, and we've gotten a tremendous response. And through the season ticket renewal process, the Hurricane Club renewal process, and then as you said, Don, as we build for the excitement of the year, we're just seeing more and more people coming out and supporting, and what that does is really allows us to continue to elevate who we are as a program, and allows us to continue to invest in the young men and women who come and put the U on and go out and represent all of us so well every day.
Blake, I had last week I came down and got some of my season tickets squared away, and I was with Logan. I'm looking at the computer screen and the virtual look, and I mean the stadium is just so impressive, and the seating it's like there is no bad seating in the entire building.
No, there really isn't, and I had the opportunity to go out yesterday for the first time since the seating went in and get a feel for the stadium, and they're doing just great things out there with Sun Life Stadium, and in many ways it'll be a brand new facility for us when we go there on September 5th, and we're excited about that. And again, I think it positions the University of Miami football program all the better, and I know Al and the guys will be excited to run out into the crowd there on September 5th and start the season off, and I'm looking forward to it. And the thing I think I would say to the fans is it's just going to be it's a different experience, and so go there, almost with the idea that you're going to a whole new stadium. Well, it's in the same spot. In many ways, it's a whole new stadium.
University of Miami Athletic Director Blake James is with us here. We are at Media Day on campus of the University of Miami. One of the things I think does go under the radar a little bit with both you and Coach Golden working together is how you have modernized the University of Miami in many ways. Football, you have lights out there now. Lights just went in on the practice field. We are doing this interview also simulcast. You have all this new media gear, a new media room. There are a lot of different things, whether it's the social media aspect or how football is recruiting or what you're doing in fundraising that are more modern today. And I think that's been important.
It is. It's and the three of us have talked about it, and I think it's something that everyone recognizes is you have to constantly be trying to get better. And what is it you're doing to try to get better? And obviously, investing in the facilities is something that's easy to see, and you see the lights out there, as you touched on, Joe, and I think we've done a good job of doing a number of other things. We have the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson locker room right behind us, and that's a great facility. Last year, we opened up the training table, and so there's just a lot of different things that we have going on that are really an investment in the program, an investment in the young men and women we have. With that said, one of the areas that we're seeing more and more is the need for video, and whether that's through the games being carried on things like Watch ESPN app or through the website, but also just through recruiting and different efforts. And it was something where I felt we really needed to make further investment in that. And so that's something that we've done, and we're really excited about that. I think ESPN's already committed to, I think, almost all of our women's soccer games or volleyball games. Obviously, football gets great coverage, but there's video components that football needs as well. And so working with them on what we do from the coverage of the practices to days like today, and just really getting that content out there for not only our fans, but for recruits, as you touched on. That's important. We want our recruits to be able to see all the great things going on at the university and get a real feel for what the University of Miami program is all about. And that's really my job. My job is to continue to elevate the bar in terms of who we are. And so while we have a lot to do, I feel good in that we've made a lot of accomplishments. Right now, as we speak, we're We're finishing up on a refueling station, which will be right here in the Heck Center. So all of our student athletes will have the opportunity, whether it's in between classes, running to the academic center, leaving practice, whatever it is, to stop by the refueling center and get the nutrition they need to have their body be the best and to continue to grow. And if we talk about wanting to achieve excellence, then we need to continue to make those types of investments. And again, we'll continue to do more and more. My hope is every year we have this meeting, we can talk about some new things we're at, and so far that's worked. And knowing our coaches, I'm sure they'll be able to continue to give me plenty of good ideas in the future.
Well, obviously, I think when you're asked, well, what's the next project, you talk about indoor for football, and everybody will say, well, it's South Florida. You know, well, why would you need an indoor? And with South Florida, the old line is it's not the heat, it's the humidity. I think with indoor facilities in Florida in general, it's not the heat, it's the lightning.
No, you touched on it. Exactly, Joe. And again, you want your student athletes and your coaches to be safe. And as the University of Miami, we have a radius, I believe, of 11 miles of the lightning detection. And again, given the environment we're in, it can be clear blue skies here, and 10 miles away, there's a thunderstorm going, and that shuts down our practice. And when you look at the limited time that you have and the demands that the guys have on them on their schedules, it makes it hard. And I know Al would know the exact number, but I know there was more than 10 practices that were significantly impacted or completely lost last year because of lightning delays. And so that is something that will remain important for our program. As I've said, it's in the big picture. Obviously, we're working on finding the right funding for it. Part of that will be getting, I think, a naming type gift that will really help us make that a reality sooner than later. But that's something that we'll continue to push on, and I'm confident we'll have it here at some point in the future. And again, those things happen, I think, with three key support units. One, your fans and your alumni and the Hurricane Club members, as Don touched on earlier. Obviously, we need that. At the same time, we need a supportive administration. And I would say to everyone out there, we get great support from the administration here. And you need a great partner in the city. And the city of Coral Gables has been nothing but very supportive in my time as athletic director. And, the lights out there on Green Tree Practice Field is a clear example of just how supportive the city of Coral Gables is. So I feel good on all three fronts that we really have a team behind us accomplishing what we're able to do, and that makes my job all the easier.
And Blake, I think we'd be remiss by not putting everything into one box, meaning that if the facility gets built, the indoor facility gets built, then all the sports can use that, or any sport that's necessary. It's not just a lockdown for a football team, correct? I mean, everybody will have benefit from that. People or other sports in this building are going to benefit from the lights on the field as well.
The use will be significant. I promise you that. Ironically, when I was at the athletic director at Maine, we built an indoor facility, and when we first were building it, it was baseball was going to use it and maybe football occasionally. Well, after it got built, it was busy from 5 a.m. until midnight every single day. And again, whether it's intercollegiate athletics or, again, we have great partners on campus. If it's letting a club team use it or whoever it is, there'll always be great use for it. And I'm confident we'll find plenty of use of it, right here in our athletic program. But even when you get to the bigger university community, I know we'll see a lot of use of it across the board.
University of Miami Athletic Director Blake James is with us. This summer, there's a lot of discussion about scheduling and all the conferences. I was at the Big Ten Media Days. They're going to 9 games in conference. ACC stays at 8 games. Is that what you prefer, or would you like to see the ACC also go to 9?
My preference, I've always said, would be 9 games. Mm-hmm. I think for us to build rivalries, we want to see the teams in our league on a more regular basis. Right now, you use an example, Boston College. We see them here in Miami once every 12 years. I don't think that grows the rivalry to the level that I would like to see it. I would like to see us play our league teams more often. It seems odd to say we play Notre Dame through our ACC arrangement more often than we play the teams from the Atlantic. And so for me, I'd like to see us play more games, ideally, or we need to figure out a way to play everyone in the league more often. And obviously, for us, it's critical, I think, for our fan base and for their fan base that we play Florida State every year. And so recognizing we need to have that game in there, how do we play Florida State every year at the same time increase the number of opportunities we have to play everyone else?
I do like the idea, by the way, of playing Florida State the same week every year. Is that possible? Like first week in October or whatever it is, second week in October, whatever you designate?
I would be fine with that. Again, those are determinations that are made by the league and I think by ESPN. Obviously, ESPN has a big investment in college football and in the ACC. And I know the Miami-Florida State game is very important to them, and they emphasize the importance of getting it on the right weekend. I would be open to playing it on a set weekend. I know late in the year Florida State has Florida, so that's not going to be a rivalry weekend game at the end of the year. And honestly, I wouldn't want it then, because as we're set up right now, I wouldn't want to play Florida State the final weekend and then be in the ACC championship the next weekend potentially against the same team. So I think first weekend of October would be great with me. This year we're on October 10th. I think the second week of October, somewhere in early October, I think would be ideal.
Blake, you also look at non-conference, and Miami traditionally has never shied away from that. It was, Nebraska away and home, and then you mentioned the Notre Dame, but that's always going to be a big part of the Miami tradition and scheduling as well. I think that Michigan State and LSU are out in the future, but you want that big marquee game as well.
No, we continue to work on those. It's important for us to play those games, I think, for two reasons. Like, as you touched on, Don, that's Miami image, and that's and who we are. We're going to go play those games. At the same time, with the college football playoff, it's important that you're enhancing your conference schedule with some great non-conference teams. Obviously, there was a lot of talk last year on some teams that didn't get into the college football playoff, and some questions regarding their scheduling and what they had done. And so it's important that we continue to schedule a schedule that puts us in position that we want to be one of the teams they're talking about when that time comes to pick the as it's set up right now, 4, and I don't know if that'll change or not in the future. I know there's been some talk about that recently with some comments that were made, but you just want to be one of the teams they're looking at for that playoff.
All right, well, you got a little road trip you're making here today, so the best of luck on the road.
Somebody's got to go,
You know, it's one of the challenges of the job is to be with as many teams as much as you can, and obviously this is one where it's a great opportunity to go see another part of the world and enjoy some time with the great young women we have in our women's basketball program, and obviously the great head coach that we have there in Katie Meyer. So I'm looking forward to it, and then getting back here in Canes Fest in the start of the season. So again, as we started this conversation off, it's crunch time here in athletics, and we're going on all cylinders.
All right, very good. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
Have a safe trip.
All right, that's University of Miami Athletic Director Blake James, and we'll continue on Miami Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Coming down the home stretch here of Media Day at the University of Miami on campus. We're inside the Schwartz Center. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr. We've had a good afternoon here. We've heard from head coach Al Golden, his press conference, and he joined us right here. So did senior defensive back Tracy Howard and University of Miami Athletic Director Blake James. Let's start with Tracy Howard for a moment, because we were joking with him about his first couple of days on campus, which seemed like it was yesterday, but now you got a mature 21, 22-year-old, came in here highly touted, and he still has a lot of football to be played.
Well, he does, and let's start with the playing field. You saw today at practice, Joe, he's all over the place. He's providing leadership. He's giving guidance to the younger players. They signed a big class of defensive backs, and he's giving them the mentoring that they need. And then you talk about the locker room. He is a guy that has stepped up and is guiding this football team. He is one of the leaders of this team, as he should be. He was a leader coming out of Miramar High. He was a highly recruited player, and it's his senior year, and it's time for him to play like a senior and take all the information that he's gathered the last 3 years and put it together for his senior class.
You know, I don't think Coach Golden and his staff through the years have gotten enough credit for some of the seniors that have had career years. Tommy Streeter was a junior, but he had a career year. Ja'Cory Harris had a career year. Duke Johnson had a career year. You had Devon Johnson, who had a career year a couple of seasons ago. So they've been able to mold and shape guys late in their careers to really peak, and Tracy Howard might be one of those.
Well, I believe that he will be, and I think that it has started in the film room. He had mentioned in our interview with him today how much more the players are studying. He's also talked about the importance of the offseason and the conditioning that has taken place. But you also look at Clive Walford. Clive Walford was an example of a guy that stayed last year and was a kind of a man-made tight end. I mean, he really worked himself into the position. He had some God-given talent, but he threw on a whole lot of work ethic with it, and it elevated his play to get drafted into the National Football League and have an outstanding senior season. So Clive Walford gives an example of what can happen when you stick around, but also what can happen your senior year.
And Blake James, I've said this before, he moved seamlessly into this job and has been relentless trying to attack the plan of making the University of Miami more modern, more contemporary, and trying to keep up with everybody else.
And it has been quiet because he's not a guy that really brags about what's being accomplished, but it hasn't been quiet. Those shovels have been hitting the ground, and those axes and the electricians are here. I mean, every time you come around, from the training table to the beautiful facility that we're in right now, and just last month they put in over $500,000 worth of lighting on the practice field. So the shovel is in the ground since the second Blake James got this job, and that's important in college football because they say it's an arms race. Well, Miami's right in the middle of it, and they're upgrading their facility, and the campus has done a great job of being upgraded as well, and it all pays off.
All right, we are a couple of days into practice, and we'll see how this thing unfolds as we lead into the home opener on September 5th against Bethune-Cookman. I'm looking forward, Don, to what could be. And what could be is you're going to have a new renovated stadium with fans closer to the action, perhaps a swarming defense that maybe they can start generating those turnovers that Coach Golden talked about, and an offense that generates a lot of points, and all of that leads to a galvanization of your product.
Well, Joe, I can tell you there's really no prediction in a few things that I've seen early. Well, let's take it from the spring, but definitely the first couple days of camp. This team is in shape. And I think that's very, very, very important. I mean, you can't go out there and have teammates not in condition and holding back drills. So that when you're in condition, you're going to have more reps, which means you're going to have more opportunities to get better. The other thing is that the commitment to the offseason. You've had everybody on board with what's going on. You've had great teamwork. You've worked on becoming unified as a front. That's going to pay off as well. There is talent here. There's a lot of talent that a lot of people haven't seen play because of the older group that came in, and they've done a nice job. But this is a very, very competitive team right now, and you like the competition. And then, of course, there's Brad Kaya. He's an outstanding quarterback. He's an outstanding person, and he is going to help Miami regenerate some energy, especially at that position.
All right, we are off and running, my friend. Here we go.
Yeah, we are. 2015
season. Thanks for joining us here on Media Day from the University of Miami. For Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki. Thanks for joining us right here on HurricaneSports.com, and go Canes.